Hello students, this would be the next class of your finance and accounting paper. I am already done with the 4 units, and in this would be the last unit of your finance and accounting paper. And for managerial economics and accounting students, this would be the one of the topic of your fifth unit. I have done almost all the topics. Only one. This is a vast unit in managerial economics and accounting. So I am making a common class for finance and accounting and managerial economics and accounting for this topic. So over here, I'm done with 4 units in finance and accounting. So check out this. If you have any doubts in the previous units, you can ask me, or you can pin me up a WhatsApp if you have any doubts regarding those topics. So this ratios, if you have come across in your schooling days, also in your intermediate, also you're doing your engineering, so you have done ratios, I guess, there where what you do is you're going to check out the relationship between the items or group of items as such. So here also we are going to check out the relationship between the items of financial statements. If you have attended your first unit, there we have checked the last. This is the last item of the accounting cycle, where you are going to interpret the, in your definition also you hear interpreting the financial statement. That is the last sentence of your definition of accounting. So here an interpretation part is done through ratio analysis. So what it does, it check out the relationship between the two items. So what is the relationship between, what is the percentage of relationship, and how far that relationship is being maintained between the two items. And if I talk about financial statement, you will be coming across with expenditures and incomes, isn't it? Expenditure is nothing but you make an expenses daily. Your daily expenses, and your income means the profits or the revenues coming out of the expenditures what you make. So now if you compare these two, so how much you made an expenditure and how much the return has come from that particular, how much revenues have that came from that particular source, you're going to check out the relationship between the thing. So here also ratio analysis is nothing but in balance sheet. If you talk about when you're making an expenditure on current assets like you supply the raw material to the debtors, or you deposit in the cash in the bank for a short term period, or if you talk about bills receivable, if you talk about cash in hand, cash at bank, these all are the short term assets. Closing stock, these are all the uh, current assets. Okay, so now these are the current assets, so you will be maintaining this. It's an benefit for you. So when you talk about current liabilities, these are the expenses what you make for a short term period, like uh, outstanding expenses some are there, or like you have taken a short term loan from the bank, or current liabilities, suppliers. These people will be the suppliers to you, so you need to pay back to them. So these all are nothing but a short term liabilities, current liabilities for a short term period they would be. So now when you talk about the relationship between the such sort of relationship also will be maintained. So how much are the current assets and how much are the current liabilities that are to be maintained, that will be checked in the ratio analysis. They will be checked and they will be computed and they are presented as such. So it's an important tool of financial analysis. It is used to determine, to interpret the financial statements to, so that strengths and weaknesses of a firm, its historical performance and current financial condition can be determined. So basically what you do over here is you interpret the financial statements. What's the performance of the company, how was the last performance, 5 years performance, and all will be known through ratio analysis only. Of course the balance sheet also, but the quantity of maintenance, like if at all these many are the assets, this would be the liabilities, these were the liabilities, that sort of relationship will be known through the what we call ratio analysis. So its historical performance and current financial condition can also be determined as such. So historical performance, as I said, the previous performance. It could be 5 years or 10 years. And the current financial condition means what is the current position of the market also can be determined through ratio analysis. The next one is a mathematical. It's also it's a relationship. Definition has been given. Mathematical yardstick that measures the relationship between two figures or group of figures which are related to each other and are mutually interdependent. So now these basically here the relationship will be checked. So it measures the relationship between two figures. It could be two figures. When suppose let's say your cash in hand is 500 rupees and you're taking a loan from a bank for a shorter period for 2000 rupees, something like that. A group of figures which are related to each other. Obviously, when you're taking, you have cash in hand and cash you're taking from a bank, it has a connection, isn't it? You use it for a company itself, isn't it? And are mutually interdependent. Yes, of course, they'll be interdependent only because if you take it cash from a bank, you are going to use it for a some purpose asset. So it's a pure ratio, percentage, or a rate. Words of caution: a ratio is not an end in itself, they are only a means to know the financial position of an enterprise. Computing ratio does not add any information to the available figures. Yes, obviously it doesn't add any figures, isn't it? See, it only reveals the relationship between more meaningful ways so that to enable us to draw a conclusion therefrom. The conclusion need to be drawn from there. So utility of ratios, accounting ratios are very useful in assessing the financial position and profitability of an enterprise asset. So what is the financial position, what are the profits coming out of that particular situation, and all will be known through um, ratios. However, its utilities lies in comparison of ratios as such. Utility of ratios, now why these are useful, how ratios are useful for the same enterprise over a number of years, for two enterprises in the same industry, for one enterprise against the industry as a whole, for one. So this is how the ratios can be calculated. Uh, from the 10 years, what was the performance, like that you can do, or for two enterprises in the same industry you can calculate, or for one enterprise against the industry as a whole. So in comparison, how the entire industry is working as such, for inter-segment comparison within the same organization. Now basically coming over here, there are four important ratios in the, that is liquidity ratio, capital structure or leverage ratio, profitability ratio, and activity ratio. Now liquidity ratio, this is when you talk about liquidity, it is basically, when you talk about the liquidity, it is nothing but it's a conversion of anything into money or anything money into anything. Okay, so easy flow of money, liquidity means. So for a shorter period, when we talk about liquidity ratio, it will be for a shorter period, remember this. So they will be for a shorter period. It will be used to find the financial position of a business for a shorter period and indicate the ability of the firm to meet its short-term commitments. Now, short-term commitments means over here we will be like doing a manufacturing on a daily manner. We need to pay wage to the laborer, or we need to take cash from the bank or deposit cash to the bank, like that. Lot of, see, you should not maintain cash also in excess so that theft and all can happen, or it should not be shortage so that you have a liquidity crunch. So average manner you need to maintain a liquidity as such. So basically it is used, these liquidity ratios are used to meet its short term commitments and out of its short term resources as such. These are also known as solvency ratios. Liquidity ratios are also known as solvency ratios. The ratios which indicate the liquidity of a firm are current ratio, liquidity ratio, or quick ratio, or asset test ratio. So basically there are three: current ratio, quick ratio, and asset test ratio. Current ratio is nothing but it is calculated. Just I want all of you to take a note of this. Um, what we call I want all of you to take a note of this so that um, I want all of you to make a note in the these formulas are very important. So I want all of you to maintain a note of it. As such, most from 1st February, most probably classes are going to start. So at that time, I am going to check each and every note. Everybody should have a complete notes, whatever I have taught you till now. So probably I'm going to give you assignment marks for that notes only. If you show me notes, I'm going to give you the assignment marks. I guess now you are much happier as such, any of you, because some of you to at least maintain notes. So if you are able maintain the notes, I'll just check and give you the assignment marks if you have shown me the this syllabus whatever till now I have done. If you show me those notes also, I'm going to give you the assignment marks. So try to write all the notes while I'm explaining only. So current ratio is basically it's a division of current assets by current liabilities. It's very simple. Current means assets will be in the numerator, liabilities will be in the denominator. So conventionally a current ratio should be 2:1. That means your asset should be 2% and your liability should be 1. Then it is a satisfactory position for a current ratio. Then current assets include these all: inventories of raw material, WIP, work in progress, finished goods, stores and spares, sundry debtors. Keep a note of all this. Okay, sundry debtors, short-term loans, deposits. If you have um, deposits, not loans, only short-term deposits, cash in hand bank, prepaid expenses, income receivables, markets, investments, and short-term securities. These all are nothing but the current assets. If you have taken, if any of these have been given in the question, you need to take them in the numerator. Okay. The current liabilities includes these all. So try to maintain a note of these all. Income received in advance, provision for taxation, proposed dividend, installments of loan payable, bank overdraft, and cash credit. This all includes current liabilities. So take a note of this all. Any of these have been given, you need to take in the numerator. Any of these have been given, you need to take in the numerator, and any of these have been given, you need to take in the denominator. Now the next one is quick ratio or asset test ratio. This is a ratio between quick current assets and current liabilities. Alternatively, they are also called as quick liabilities. Quick ratio is equal to quick assets by current liabilities. What you do over here is you only deduct, if you check out over here, you're going to subtract only prepaid expenses and inventories if at all has been given. Closing stock, that means if at all any closing stock has been given, you need to subtract that. Okay. So less prepaid expenses and in the numerator, in current assets, you need to deduct only the prepaid expenses and sundry debtors. In the current liabilities, you deduct the bank overdraft, income received in advance. Also, you need to deduct. So these are the quick ratio. 1:1 ratio need to maintain both of them. If numerator is 1, denominator also should be 1. Okay. So next are capital structure ratio or leverage ratios. Leverage, the word, it's what it explains, the capability of a business, how we are maintaining the long term solvents, how solvent the company is. Okay, so one was if you check out this, liquidity ratios are done. We are moving on to second one, no, capital structure ratio or uh, leverage ratios. These ratios indicate the long-term solvency of a firm. Long-term solvency means why investors will invest in a company. The outsiders, they are the outsiders. Why they will invest into a company? By checking out your financial capability, how good you are in repaying their debts. If they're giving loan to you, how good you were in the past also. Now people, why they will invest in a company means checking out your past performance and the credit return policy, how good they are in returning the financial institutions, and these all the loans will come under long-term debts. Okay, in the numerator, if at all any of these has been given, you need to take in the numerator, and in the denominator you need to take equity share capital plus preference share capital plus reserve surplus minus fictitious assets. Any of these have been given, you need to take in the denominator, and the ratio need to be maintained is if the company is in a good position, if the numerator is 2 and the denominator is 1 as such. Okay, so the another one is proprietary ratio. This is the second one. These ratio indicates the general financial strength of the firm and long-term solvency of the business. That includes proprietary fund divided by total funds. 65% or 75% of proprietary ratio is advisable. So proprietary funds include shareholders funds, total funds include same similar. Proprietary fund means this only you need to take shareholder funds, equities, preference, reserves and surplus minus if at all any fictitious assets are there. These all are the, if at all any of these examples have been given, you need to just subtract them. Okay, so total funds are all fixed assets and total and all current assets. Then another one is total debt to total capital ratio, long term debt divided by shareholder funds plus long term debt. 2 by 3 need to be maintained. Interest coverage ratio, EBIT by interest. EBIT is earning before interest and tax divided by interest. 6 to 7 times is being considered satisfactory. Debt to service coverage ratio, that includes EAT plus interest plus depreciation divided by interest plus principal installment. EAT is earning after tax. 2:1 is considered ideal. Profitability ratio, this is another. Profitability is the third one. And those all includes profitability means the operating efficiency of the firm will be known, what are the profits, how much profits have been maintained, so that how is the ability to ensure returns are being, see why shareholders, the owners will invest into a company unless you do give them profit, isn't it? So returns should be given to shareholders, that the reason profitability will be maintained. Further, it is divided into in relations to sale, in relation to investment, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, and expense ratio. Gross profit, return on assets, return on capital employed, return on shareholders' equity, earning per share. So this is an another one. Gross profit margin, net profit margin, operating efficiency means you have formulas. If you check out here, see basically they are divided into, first of all, mostly three, and apart from this, these all are the profitability ratios. I'll tell you also how you can remember in my next class these formulas. Many are there, madam. What is this mean? These many formulas are there, you may think, but you need to remember this. All of them, the numerator will be the question means if at all in the question he asked the gross profit ratio, in the numerator you need to take gross profit, and the denominator sales. If you can check this one, gross profit divided by net sales, and here net profit divided by net sales, net profit before interest and divided by net sales, and expense ratio for all of them, it will be COGS divided by net sales. COGS means the materials that has been consumed. I'm going to tell you what you don't get confused by checking out the all the above. What is important over here is operating ratio. That's it. In expense ratio, COGS plus operating expense divided by net sales. COGS is cost of goods sold. How we are going to get that is opening stock plus closing plus expenses plus gross profit minus sales. You will get this. Return on assets, all the return, wherever return is there, the return will be the means numerator will be net profit after taxes. That plus or minus you need to remember that, divided by assets. So the same manner, return on capital employed, like this only you need to do. Return on shareholders equity, all of them will be like this only. Okay, earning per share, dividend per share, dividend payout ratio, price earning ratio, you need to remember where things will be taking place. Activity ratios are nothing but turnover ratios, means in a year, turnover means in a year how much sales have been done compared to your raw materials or the loans that you have taken from outside and all, creditors and all, that will be compared. So basically for activity ratios, numerator will be the COGS or sales, or denominator will be the question. If at all inventory stock or turnover is there, so numerator will be COGS or sales divided by the question. If you can check average stock, here it is, just copy them. Credit sales divided by average debtors and bills receivable. Assets turnover ratio, it will be all sales divided by total assets, sales divided by average fixed all. The capital turnover, sales divided by average, like that you need to take. Okay, copy them and all. Creditors turnover ratio, credit purchases divided by average debtors. Here little bit variation will be there only here. For creditors you need to take purchases, for debtors you need to take sales, because you purchase from outside, then only you need to check out all the purchases. So divide by average bills, creditors or bills payable. Credit period will be calculated by months or days in a year divided by number of days. So this, as I guess this is done. So activity ratios are these many, that is turnover ratios. Try to remember them and make a note of all of them. So I'll wind up the class now. In my next class I'm going to do problems. See all of you guys. Bye all of you.